What's up? What's up? Early tease UFC Vegas 95, Tybura Spivac, an electric rematch that we were all asking for. If it's your first time listening, we use this show to preview, the upcoming card. Right after the last event, I woke up 2 a.m. and I had oh, probably turn YouTube off, and I woke up in another dimension, and I was like, I'm too drained. But yeah, I had a coffee. And yeah, as I mentioned, really want to look into Tybura Spivac number 2. So here we are. As I said, if you're a first time listener, there is no tape done for this early tease. 5 episodes later, people just keep holding on my leans as gospel. Like, come on, the tape will be done later on in the week, so chill out. Although my reads have been good, pre-tape leads have been good, so this show is quite beneficial for me, so I'm going to keep doing it. And when the podcast is really late in the week, I don't feel bad because I've at least done something for the lads. All right, let's go over the quick review and then, move into the card. So we didn't make money, unfortunately, but we were very close. A little bit sloppy, but, those things happen when you wake up at 2 a.m. and gambling is all mental. I will always bang on about that. Kyrax, the man, just when I was going to kick the bucket, BigSteve drops an early tease. Correct, my friend, let's go. Never kick the bucket. Not unless you're 50. 50 and 10 years in the TRT business and, I'm going to stop talking. Alrighty. So I already did a PFL breakdown. I lost like $700 on PFL and whatever the other regional show was. Fury, no regret. Just some sloppy bets, but other than that, no regret. All right, let's get into it. Dumas, Tallulah, pass, great pass. Tallulah has value, but ultimately just one of the biggest bumps in the UFC. Joe Herbert, Ronaldo Bedoya, passed as well here. I ended up live betting Joe Herbert $500 when halfway through round 2. I actually called up when he was a $2.50 favorite. I thought it was clear round 1. I didn't understand the glazing by the commentators on Bedoya. Yeah, Bedoya had the volume. He was always going to have more volume. That was on tape, but his defense just let him down. He was a lot less athletic person, and I thought Joe made adjustments. He wasn't getting hit. He was just pretty much getting calf kicked. And, unfortunately, I had to lock in barely any plus money. But yeah, ended up 30, 20, 70. So I won $510 there. And so yeah, $500 there. Then Sam Hughes did a curve, as I said on the podcast, relay podcast that I did. Hope people got something out of that. It was better late than never. No interest in the fight. Sam is really slim margins, and I was going to live bet her if Dudakova looked off again like she did in the Junior Fry fight, and she did. As I mentioned with live bets, there's a late live bet and there's an early live bet. Jay Herbert was a late live bet, almost going into round 3, had a lot of data. Sam Hughes was an early one. I got her at $3.60, something like that. I was a little bit nervous. You obviously have a lot more data. She got taken down right after that, but she got up. She won round 2 clear. I thought she won round 3 clear as well. Dudakova 30-27 is an absolute wild scorecard. One of the worst scorecards I've ever seen. They must have mixed up the corners because Sam Hughes has more of a case for 30-27 than Victoria Dudakova. But anyway, won $1,200 there. So I'm almost up $2,000 from 2 live bets. At this point, I'm really happy I woke up at 2 a.m. Jordan Vucenic, his line spiked last minute, and I thought there was value on him, watching Guram. And then I was actually going to live bet Jordan at dog money in round 1. But I was like, no, I'm going to wait. I'm not going to do another early one. I need more data. And then he drops him, and I regretted it. But props to Guram, comes back and wins. Respect, the guys had some bad luck in the UFC. All 4 high-level opponents. And, yeah, I'm glad he's bounced back. So, no, nothing there. Shamil Gaziev, I only played $100 Gaziev round 1 sub at $10. I felt like the grappling could really burn the under, even though there was value. He almost knocked out Mays and then took him down. So, happy with that. I thought I played that perfectly. Sub was live in round 1. Gaziev waited for 4 seconds to go for it, for an arm triangle like an idiot. And yeah, went all the way to decision. As I said, he had decision equity because Mayers just has no cardio. So maybe Gaziev decision should have been a poke. Then I actually said in the Discord, Kai Fernandez is live for round 1 as well. Didn't play anything there. The guy came out with no urgency and he still knocked out Yaya. But yeah, pass. My first money line, Alonzo Menefield. Look, I'm actually happy with how he performed. It was a scary one. No one was talking about it. I got reverse CLV'd by a lot right before the fight started. Essentially, Alonso kept pressuring, kept taking all the damage, forcing Azamat to throw the most volume he's thrown in the UFC, forcing a war out of him. Fortunately, he couldn't crack me. He landed one uppercut. He just missed with some big head kicks. But essentially, his shots seemed to be a lot more heavier. Azamat was faster. Again, it was a risky bet. I have no regret. I thought Menifeld was coming on a bit. If only he just valued his defense a little bit more instead of just constant pressure with absolutely no defense. I think he could have done well. But yeah, I mean, Azamat, did he look a massive favorite? Yeah, he got a knockout and he was winning round 1, winning round 2, but just the way he fights, being old and kind of gassy, and he started to shoot early in round 2, couldn't get takedowns. So I don't mind that bet at all. That was the risk, but you got to trust your gut. So I don't regret it whatsoever. So I lost $900 there, still up. Now this is where things started going bad. So Elvis Brenner, I really wanted to play him as a dog. I missed a good line. Sometimes you got to leave it. But then because I was really set in playing him, as soon as the fight started and he spiked up to $2.60, I played him. And then, he couldn't get a takedown. Go figure. And just a really nothing like Elvis Brenner type performance, constantly on the back foot, being scared. So, yeah, donated $500 there. Then Mackenzie Dern, this really should have been a 1-unit play. I actually like this play the most out of everything and ended up winning $800 there. She won clear. She was 2-0 up in the third. Usually Lupita Godinez's round 3 is the worst, but she ended up winning it. Dern just kind of kept walking into a left hook. But I thought Dern had a shout for 30-27. I thought this was a step down. It's funny because this was a clear pass for me pre-tape on early tees, and then I taped it, and it just hit me that Dern is actually a play. So that probably should have been a $2,000 if, maybe even 2 units on Dern. Michael Chaser, Tony Ferguson, I donated almost $500 on the over 2.5. It was scary, and I felt like Tony Ferguson's is washed enough to get subbed, and there was going to be a lot of grappling. But then you watch Chiesa versus washed Diego Sanchez, watch Dos Anjos, Magni, and he just can't sub anyone, He used to have a really good rear naked choke, and, go figure. The bet looked amazing up until the first takedown. It was instantly over. So that was a bit of a donation. So at this point, I'm like close to even now. Actually, no, I've got $500 thanks to the live bets. Davison Figueiredo, Marlon Vera, I had 1,000 on Vera, half a unit to win, 1,500. Look, as the week went on, and I did more inspection on Vera, I was actually glad that I only did half a unit because I knew he was going to lose round 1 and potentially be low output because of the takedown threat, and Davison was going to be a weasel. As he went into round 3, I thought he stole round 2, and I was like, thank goodness. But ultimately Figueiredo had a really good round 3 and dropped Vera instead of Vera coming on late like he usually does. I found out Vera was training out of his garage last minute. I didn't like how he didn't take his clothes off at weigh-ins. That's always a red flag for me. A lot of red flags. Obviously, got the crap beat out of him by old mate. I think it's important to stay accountable. I don't even know if Vera had any value as a dog, to be honest. Like, Davison definitely should have been the favorite due to the fact that he's going to win round 1 at a pretty high clip. And, round 1 clear, round 3 clear, round 2 extremely slim margin. So maybe Figueiredo looks 60% there minimum. So, important to admit maybe it wasn't a good bet. But when he was picking at the end of round 2, I live bet Figueiredo 400 to win 333. So I only lost $600 something. Probably should have gone more. Probably should have just completely hedged out because Vera didn't look the greatest. Then Shara Magomedov, I'm glad I passed on Mikhail. I'm glad I passed on the under 1.5. They were tempting. I ended up putting $1,000 on Shara, $1.40 halfway through round 1. I thought that was the worst of Mikhail. His cardio was absolutely dreadful. I won $400 there. And then Umar Magomedov. I didn't tape this fight, as I mentioned. I was actually taping through the card, and if I taped it, I probably would have got a reminder that Corey is just so unathletic and weak. I mean, I watched the Song Yadong fight, and Song Yadong just took him down with ease, and he was pressuring him, and there was a big physicality gap here. But I live bet 500 on Corey Sandhagen when he stuffed the first takedown, and he was volleying him up, Umar. I thought he won round 1. I must have not seen the same thing. And then I thought he did really well in round 3. Just a lot of volume, a ton of volume. And then Umar kind of came on strong. Pretty much in every single round, Corey started off well with the kicks, lots of volume. Then Umar came on strong with the strikes, more eye-catching shots, and then he would hit a takedown with no damage. And apparently that was enough to win every single round. Got 4-1, and that was a bit of a donation. So, yeah, considering my moneyline slate was Alonso Menifield, untrustworthy dog, Mackenzie Dern at Pickham, and Marlon Vera, as a dog, I could have easily gone up. I lost $400. I donated $500 to the Tony Ferguson over. I donated $500 to Brenner, which I should have just completely passed. That's $1,000 there. That would have been $500 profit. And there was another donation that I made. Oh, yeah, and $700 on Umar Nurmagomedov live bet. Probably could have just gone Umar at Pick'em round 2. But, yeah. I see some other people got burnt, but it is what it is. I try not to compare myself to others. It's not even. I'm not even on the downswing. It's just I pretty much broke even last month, and then I started this month just over $1,000 down. So half a unit down, no biggie. Just gonna go back to my usual self of locks. So I'm not gonna force anything. We'll see how we go. It's time to kind of get myself some momentum. So we'll do that. What do we got here in terms of regrets? I'm not going a little bit bigger on Jai Herbert. Obviously, regret donating to Brenner, regret donating to Ferguson, overs. And yeah, the live bet on Corey was kind of, I don't want to say forced, but I probably should have got out. It's, halfway through the fight, it hit me that we're in Abu Dhabi and none of these close rounds are going to go into be scored to Corey Sandhagen. So yeah, couple of rushed bets, forced bets. But other than that, what I'm happy about, Joe Herbert live bet, Sam Hughes, one of my best live bets in a while. Passing on Bedoya, passing on Tululan, Mackenzie Dern, good bet at Pick'em. Live betting, Davison Figueiredo, hedging out, live bets. I'm happy with most of the live bets. So yeah, could have been worse, could have been better. Of course, always can be better. But yeah, down 1,200 for the month. Let's go. We'll get out easy peasy. August is only beginning. What do we got? A lot of comments. Appreciate you boys listening. I'm in Australia. I know a lot of Americans are sleeping. Moyes audio, just parlay 6 random favorites will cash. Yeah, it depends, man. It depends. Sometimes dogs will win, sometimes favorites will win. You just gotta trust the reads. 4 finishes on this card, but you won't hear Dana White whine about it. Yeah. I mean, who cares what Dana White says these days? Hakai complaining about subs. Azamat minus EV fight until he isn't. Look, I've been on Azamat every single fight in the UFC, so this is the first time I've faded him, and I'm not really a Alonso guy, but yeah, happy with that. Kyrax, hopefully we'll get Figgy versus Jan in a 5 round. It should be a smash spot for Jan, but all right, let's move on. Let's go into this beautiful, beautiful card. So, first fight, Danny Barlow, Nikolai Veretennikov. So this is the only fight I taped a little bit, just because someone on the last show, I think it was Danny P, asked me about the dog, and it's a huge line. Huge line, and Veretennikov is good, man. I know him well. I faded him on Contender Series versus Morales. Morales is now in the UFC doing quite well, close to a ranking. And it wasn't an easy click. There was a lot of tape on Veretennikov. The guy's physical, good grappler, lots of KOs. And Morales, just like a young, technical dude on the Ecuadorian regional scene. And you just kind of had to pinch your nose and lock in a big underdog with unknowns, which works quite well on Contender Series, which I can't wait. Contender Series coming up. That's my specialty. So that's one of the reasons I'm optimistic. But yeah, and he worked out there. But yeah, he's good. After that, just went back and just finished everyone. DeMarcus Johnson is decent. He was in Bellator, but he's kind of flaky. Luis Enriquez, just a really old regional bum. Ashley Reese was also in Bellator 9-2. So he's gone back to his finishing ways. He's a bit old, 34 years old. I know he's Dariush's mate. Dariush convinced Dana White to give him a chance on Contender Series. So, I guess it's not old to come on short notice. So, yeah, huge line on Veretennikov. I just taped his last 3 fights after Contender Series to see what he's been up to. He's also knocked out Anthony Ivy to the body. He's got really brutal knees in the clinch. So, yeah, Danny Barlow, he's kind of one-dimensional, but that left hand is brutal. That left hand, he's good at what he does. He's going to stay on the outside, and he's going to keep landing that left hand, classical sprawl and brawler. But yeah, there's got to be a bit of value on Veretennikov. I think Veretennikov is better than Josh Quinlan. I think Josh Quinlan is one of the worst to ever do it. I don't think Raheem Forrest is quite amazing. He's a bit, bit flaky. I've taped him a bunch for the Contender Series fight, and his regional fights, CFFC. So yeah, there's definitely value in Veretennikov. What I need to do is I need to go and look at his, how his chin is. Below, obviously Barlow cracks. He's got a round 2 knockout back in 2014. I just need to see if this is like a young, not good at MMA knockout, or if there's chin issues. But maybe someone can fill me in the chat. Have we ever seen Veretennikov hurt? Obviously Morales hurts, cracks. So I'll have to retape that fight again. But yeah, dog or pass for sure. Maybe the unders. This time I don't have any unders, which is unfortunate. It's good to talk about the unders, but yeah, maybe the under 1.5 could be a spot. Veretennikov finishes a lot of dudes. All right. Charalampos, Grigoriou versus Toshiomi Kazama. So this is an interesting line because Grigoriou is not UFC level at all. The guy is an overhand right, and that's it. And then after that, he just gasses, has really bad decision equity. He will go for takedowns, but yeah, just really low level of competition. Got knocked out by C-Rod on regionals, just kind of gassed, just nothing on the back foot. We got beat by Chad and Alencar, like that's just pathetic. I think if he didn't knock out Cameron Smotherman in Contender Series, he would have got paced there as well. A much more technical striker, Cameron Smotherman. So yeah, and he's minus 200 in this fight. I get that Toshima Kazama is a bum. Also probably not UFC level. 2 knockout losses in round 1 back to back. Garrett Anfield. Pardon me. And Rinya Nakamura, but probably a bit of a step up from Chalampos. So yeah, I guess this is a dog or pass. Maybe the under will be good here. I really have to. Obviously, Kazama is a grappler. A tricky grappler. Lots of subs. I really need to see what Chalampos' ground game is like. I haven't even watched the Chad Alencar fight. I think it was the first fight of the card, and I'm pretty sure I was drunk and hungover, and I just slept in. My alarm didn't go off, so I have to rewatch that. But I'm not surprised that he lost to Chad. All right, let's move on. What's NTT say? Everyone was so convinced Vera won round 2 when it was quite slim margins. Yeah, Vera just kind of stole it with that last little flurry, but yeah, he's a bum, man. I hate betting on Vera. I only bet on Vera as a dog when he's going up against Font and these guys that he can rock and knock out, but or just lie bet him. But Carax, the under is probably going to be juiced. You never know, mate. You never know. Chalampos has gone over a bit, but we'll see. I'm probably not going to like it considering it's an overhand right and nothing else. It's kind of like banking on one punch to land. Alrighty, Stephanie, Luciano, Talita, Alencar. So these girls obviously fought on Contender Series. Now rematching. I was on Stephanie Luciano as a huge underdog. I think she was $3.50. That was the day that another underdog, that Allen guy, beat. Who's the LFA bum? I can't remember him now. Jacoby Jones. Those huge underdogs, and I just felt it was like, damn, look at this slate, just huge dog after huge dog, and they both had value. Stephanie Luciano, she could have easily won that fight. She got taken down and backpacked round 1, round 2, and then beat the crap out of a Talitha in round 3 and got a 10-8. But yeah, she's very good. I like her. She's young, and there's something about her, like intangibles. It's kind of tough. She's got grappling herself. I think she's a purple belt. And Talita took that fight on extremely short notice, so obviously full camp for both of them now. So maybe, Talitha obviously has the explosive, takedown upside. But if Stephanie Luciano can get up a bit sooner, get the striking going. But except the only issue is now she's a favorite. Yeah, she's a favorite. Gone from a huge underdog to a favorite, and it just feels like it's going to be a slim margins fight again. So I didn't even have my odds out. Let me just refresh how much of a favorite she actually is. $1.66, yeah, so about 60%. Yeah, I feel like this should be a pick and fight still. Alencar had a UFC fight already debut, and yeah, she's probably she's got the jitters out of the way. Luciano's first fight, so I'm probably going back to I'm feeling like Talita again. I played her as a dog against Rihanna Amanda as well. So yeah, dog or pass. It's just I don't know if there's any value in Luciano at the moment. Luana Santos, Chelsea Chandler. Not Luana, Yana Santos, pardon me. What a fight. Jesus Christ. Alrighty, let's refresh. Ketlin Vieira. 3 losses in a row for Yana obviously got knocked out by Arena. Yeah, Holly Holm beat the crap out of her. And then this Carol Rosa fight, split decision. I remember that. I love bet Carol Rosa, and Rosa put me through a sweat because she kept it really competitive. She definitely looked better against Carol Rosa than she did against Holly Holm. Holly Holm absolutely rinsed her. But yeah, this is going to be just a shit show of a fight. A lot of clinching, a lot of rubbish. This feels like a pick 'em fight that's lined like a pick 'em fight that I don't really want any of my money on. Santos is a slight favorite. Yeah, disgusting fight. Let's save some time, shall we? Speaking of disgusting fights, Carl Williams, Jonathan Diniz. So we know what Carl Williams is going to do. He's going to go for takedowns, and Jonathan Diniz, really high level glory kickboxer with insane durability and good power. And I bet him around 1KO against old mate Austin Lane. The under 1.5 was extremely juicy, and unfortunately he got taken down once and no get-ups for 4+ minutes. And then he knocked him out in round 2, which, quite annoying. But what are you going to do? Play that under 1.5 at like 80%? So, yeah, I mean, Carl Williams is the best wrestler that Diniz has fought. He's a bit one-dimensional, but you know what he's going to do. Except, he kind of slows down, and then there's a bit of value on his opponents. Jimmy Lawson, no get-ups. Lucas Bresky, one of the worst to ever do it. Chase Sherman, likewise. Justin Tafa. I know some people are on Tafa, and, I mean, you can't bet. There might have been value, but you can't bet a fat Islander Samoan against a wrestler. That's just, I know me and my mate always joke around with that. It's just true. It's true. But yeah. What is it, Carl Williams? Like -200? Worse than -200. I think this could be a good live bet. See how Carl Williams looked as he slowed down. I mean, this is just a volatile heavyweight shit show. Let's move on. Let me just check. We don't have totals, right? Fight odds. Let's look at the comments. Always Vera durability done. I don't know, man. That overhand right was big, Tafa was hurting this guy, correct. And Tafa cracks. Williams, 8+ takedowns, most likely. Nick Alexander told me only 1 sub. Of course, I wish there were 0 subs because I played the over in the Ferguson fight. I was kind of banking on that they would be just holding on to each other with no sub. Aussie flag, let's go. Where's the Serbian flag at, mate? Alrighty. Best fight odds. No totals. Alright, we should make it a quicker show. Carla Rosa, Penny Kianzad. Yeah, another shit show. Carla Rosa is a really untrustworthy favorite. She's, close to -200. She always drops round 1. And Penny actually has really good boxing. And she can probably drop Carla Rosa. Carla Rosa was dropped by Lena Landsberg. Lena Landsberg by Norma Dumont. Just got absolutely rinsed by Sarah McMahon. Really old Sarah McMahon. Yana Santos was a split. That shouldn't have been a split. And Irina Aldana, that was a war. She had an absolute war with Irina Aldana. I remember that fight. That was one of the best fights. So, yeah, she's got that Brazilian IQ. Too much aggression, not enough brains. She'll go for takedowns. Yeah, this is a dog or pass. I actually don't mind this bet. Might look into this. Macy Chasson, just a complete different level. Caitlin Vieira, again, just, ton of grappling. Yeah, this is a dog or pass. Currently, Carla Rosa is 65%. There's going to be some value on Penny. Yeah, I'm going to look into that one. So let's move on. Chepe Mariscal, Damon Jackson. Alrighty, I don't mind Jackson. He's kind of looking more washed than usual, but he's good at what he does. Chepe had this kind of favorite line. No way. He's kind of been high rolling his wins. The Trevor Peak. Good on him. Short notice. He was just a better fighter there. Jack Jenkins. I mean, broken arm from a whizzer. And Morgan Charrier, again, high roll that quite a bit. I mean, this could be a step down from a lot of these guys. I need to remind myself just how washed Damon Jackson is. I know that Billy Quarantillo fight, he was just cardio dead after the second round. I had money on him there, and I thought round 3, if he only had a tiny bit more cardio, he would have won round 3 against Billy. Oh, that's right. He beat Alexander Hernandez via split. I didn't see that coming. I thought Alexander was going to run through him, but Hernandez is just, the guy just gets worse and worse. Yeah, this is another dog or pass. Yeah, Chepe, not a guy that you bet at this line, especially because Damon Jackson will actually be dangerous early. He's a really dangerous grappler. He's got power in his hands as well. So, yeah, what I'll do is I'll just probably take that last Hernandez fight. See how Damon did. I know he hurt him a couple of times. And then, I'll go from there. That's going to get my attention. Alan Nascimento, Jafel Fila. Bit of a weird fight to give out Nascimento. Nascimento has ranking potential. Split decision to Tagia, beat Jake Hadley clear, ran through Carlos Hernandez, and I'll give him Jafel Fila, who, Fila has lost to Makayev, and then he's got a knockout of a submission of Perez in a beautiful one-round fight, and then obviously ran through it. Oswan. Just give a guy like Oswan someone with the ground game, and he's just going to get run through. Yeah, it's going to be a good jiu-jitsu fight. Nascimento should be the favorite based on, I think his potential, his ranking potential. That's quite a big line, $1.44. Obviously, I don't think he's going to run through Jafel Fila. Nascimento did get swept by old mate Jake Hadley off his back. Obviously, Tagia swept him a bunch of times. If this ends up being like a back-and-forth scramble fight, Alan Nascimento has a lot of splits on his regionals. He lost a split to Holy and Piver on Contender Series as well. So maybe if this ends up being a grapple fight, I know Jafel Fila has good striking as well, underrated striking. He's not a bad fighter. 16-3. I don't know if he can be ranked, but very close to submitting Makayev. Barez is very good. He ran, almost got knocked out by him, but I want to see Barez fight again. And so this dog will pass for me again. Sure, you can play juice on Nascimento when he's fighting someone like Carlos Hernandez, but I got to look into this one too. Interesting fight. People saying this card is bad, but there's a few spots sticking out to me. Last week there wasn't many spots at all, and ended up with Dern being a great bet. Unintentional likeness of Alonzo Manifield. So we'll see. Jono Errens, Yusuf Zalal. Let me go through the comments first. Moyes, Penny no left knee, gets taken down easy now. Yeah, I would say she's such a dog because of the takedown upside for Rosas, but Carl Rosa just doesn't cover. Moyes Audio, Chepe. Yep. Say his name. I wonder why the UFC keeps giving Williams, who's boring as shit, very favorable matchups. I know. They do that. They give Budai the bottom of the barrel guys so he can rack up wins. They give Parisian the worst guys, and he's actually, he barely has a win. It's weird. A lot of these other divisions are like sink or swim. They give Goram the best guys, and it's like if you can't win fights in the UFC, see you later. But these heavyweights, they're really nursing him. But this is a step up for Carl Williams. Jonathan Diniz, they're giving him a world-class striker. So yes, he has no ground game, but who else are they going to give him? Who else are they going to give him? Williams versus Dontel. Dontel needs to be cut. I hate watching that guy fight. Williams versus Gaziev title eliminated. Yes. Alrighty. So this is definitely dog or pass. I was on Jono Errens. I bet a lot on Jono Errens. So I bet him in his debut against William Gomez. Kind of regretted that. But then every time I watch it back, he hurts Gomez with the right hand and he almost triangles him and, gets a draw at one scorecard. So with Choi, I bet him there as well. Choi. He almost knocks out Choi with one punch. And I thought that was an easier matchup than Gomez because Choi has no defense, no chin. In a striking fight, I thought he had a lot of potential. And I thought he could potentially submit Choi as well. And unfortunately, showed some bad IQ. And then reluctantly, I jumped on him for the third time against Steve and win. And finally, he beats the absolute piss out of him. And there was a lot of euphoria. There was a lot of serotonin watching, a guy that you lost money on twice finally win as a huge underdog and look amazing. So this guy's very athletic. He's huge. He's 5'11". He's got a lot of a lot of potential, a lot of skills. Good jiu-jitsu, judo black belt, a lot of striking and power. He's 1 inch taller than Zalal, but he's a lot more filled out. He looks like a massive, massive featherweight. Zalal, one of my biggest regrets, not hammering him huge against Billy Quarantillo. I missed out on the big dog line, and then when it was slight dog money, I was like, I should still hit this. But obviously everyone else was on it, and the line was just moving very quickly. And I remember telling people, I know he's fighting bums on the regionals when UFC cut him, but there's something about him. Something's changed. And, he looked a lot more lethal, a lot more dangerous against Billy. Billy's washed. I've been fighting Billy for like 3-4 fights now, but he still looked great. So I need to rewatch that fight. Obviously, probably won't be able to learn too much, but Jono Errens, the issue is the takedown defense. Zalal will go for it. So that's probably why he's such a big favorite. But this is still a wild, wild line. I mean, this is a big recency bias. He was an underdog to Billy Quarantillo, and now he's a $1.30 favorite to Jono Errens. Keep in mind, Zalal was 2 rounds to kneel down against old mate Damon Blackshear. So I think Jono, if he's learned something, if he just goes back to fighting smart, he doesn't do stupid crap like in the Super Cho fight. There could be big value. So the only thing is how will he handle the wrestling. So yeah, clear dog a pass. I hate to sound like a broken record, but alrighty. Javid Basharat, Chris Gutierrez. Interesting fight. This is going to be a bit of a staring match. Let's see if we got any comments. Aussie Five Fan. Is Zalal being overvalued? He sure is. I mean, Zalal is a decision machine. I don't know how he covers this line. Alrighty. So, Javid Basharat, Chris Gutierrez, these guys are just going to stay on 2 outside strikers. It's quite embarrassing, but Javid Basharat has really good IQ, but he finally showed against, Ayman Zahabi, he showed a little bit of lack of IQ. That fight was quite winnable for him. He just kept walking into the same overhand right against Zahabi. He almost seemed like he mentally checked out. But usually he's got great feints. He mixes it up. He throws kicks, calf kicks. And there he just got a little bit too over-aggressive. And Zahabi, traditionally extremely low volume, he gave Zahabi just the overhand right over and over again. And a guy that's really low output, he just gave him easy points, right? So he in my eyes, he pretty much gave up that fight. So hopefully he can adjust. I still think he's a good fighter. His little brother's obviously way better. But Chris Gutierrez, I hate this guy. This guy's a pansy boy. This guy will just calf kick and run away. He won't make adjustments. He's a bit like Trey Ogden without the grappling. And yeah, he just does the same thing every fight. If you pressure him, he hates it. Good footwork. So it's hard not to see some value on Chris Gutierrez, because now that I'm talking about it, Javid will give him that ideal fight, just like, he gave Ayman Zahabi. I was also on Victor Henry. I thought that was going to be a competitive fight too. So yeah, he's a bit hittable too. Matuis Mendoka cracked him a few times because his hands are low. But yeah, obviously, like every Chris Gutierrez fight, I have to look into how the opponent handles leg kicks. Will he check him? I don't think Javid has that much power. For example, like Pedro Munoz or Song Yadong. So yeah, I just remember now Song Yadong uses wrestling to beat Gutierrez. So maybe Basharat can mix that in. But yeah, it's tough. It's tough. I don't know if he's a parlay piece. Chris is always a fade. To go the distance, this is going to be like the juiciest over ever. Don't disrespect the goat Trey Ogden. We don't talk about Trey Ogden in here. Trey Ogden's the luckiest fighter in the world. I swear to God. All right, let's move on. Main event. This is the reason why I could not wait. And we had to get this show out of the way right now. Marcin Tybura, Sergey Spivac, numero 2. All right, the return. The rumble in the jungle. All right, the battle of the chromosomes. Who's got more, who's got less? It's really hard to tell. Yeah, so these guys already fought, as most of you know, if you're not casuals. And yeah, I was surprised that Marcin Tybura just kind of mauled Spivac like that. We haven't seen anyone do that since or before, right? Spivac is usually the guy that grapples. And I'd always had this feeling like, he caught Spivac. Was that Spivac's debut? Let me just check. Let me just wiki-cap. No, it was actually Walt Harris. He got ran through by Walt Harris. Back then, Spivac was a big underdog always. Big dog to Spivac, to Harris. Huge underdog to Tybura. I remember that was in Australia. I was there live. Marcin Tybura, he was a slight favorite for some reason. And Tybura, that was ages ago, 4 years ago. And Tybura just kind of put on a wrestling clinic against him. After that, Carlos, Felipe, really close fight. He chose to strike with Felipe up until round 3, and then it got grappling going. Jaron Bandera just mauled him. I completely forgot about that fight. Alexei Olenek, really close fight. Tom Aspinall does what Tom Aspinall does. Greg Hardy just ran through him. Sakai just ran through him. Derek Lewis ran through him. And then he got ran through by Cyril Gane. So he's always had this issue where I don't think he's the top 3, 4, 5 guy. He's kind of probably the same level as Tybura, but I think Tybura is more trustworthy. Tybura, when Spivac gets beaten, he gets run through. And Tybura, yes, we've seen that before in the past by Tybura, but then, really competitive fights with Blagoy, Romanov, Alexander Volkov. He doesn't get run through as much. There was a time where he got knocked out by Shamil and Sakai. But yeah, I think he's got better cardio than Spivac. I think he's got better striking, better volume. So I'm kind of surprised why money is coming in on Spivac. It's not major. He's a slight favorite. It's not pick him anymore, but on Bet365 it's still pick him. So it's going to be one of those ones where he probably keeps bouncing. But I'm surprised. I have a feeling like people also think that Spivac's improved since then. But what's he going to do? He's just going to grapple Tybura? I don't know about that. We have a lot of tape here. We have a lot of relevant tape. Romanov tried to grapple Tybura. Ivanov did. I know Tybura so well. I know him like the back of my hand. He usually starts off slow. His wrestling's not the best. His best takedown, he's not athletic. His best takedowns are caught kicks, and when he locks his hands around the waist against the cage, which he doesn't usually get going until rounds 2 and 3. Usually, he gets cracked, wobbled in round 1, and then because his cardio is so good, he picks up. He's a great live betting guy, obviously, unless he's fighting a bum like Tai Tuivasa, who just ran through in round 1. Spivac had to refresh. Obviously, he's going to clinch up with you. He's going to throw you around. But yeah, a lot of relevant tape. I know I was joking about how electric this fight is, but I'm actually excited to take this one. I'm going to start with their first matchup and then just go from there. So, yeah, pick and fight. I lean Tybura. 5-rounder as well. I lean Tybura. So, might come around on the play here. We'll see. Or maybe money comes in on Spivac because of the age difference and whatnot. Kyrax. Tabura's lost to Aspinall is aging well. He lasted longer than Blades. I mean, man, I was in Europe this time last year, and I remember I parlayed Aspinall, and I bet his round 1 KO was $3.50 or something higher than that. It's just wild. Wow, you just have to jump on these recency bias ones. It was a lot worse against Blades. I'll take Polar Bear. What's the read, Nick Alexander? How does Polar Bear win this in 5 rounds at the Apex? Oh, because he's the Apex Predator. I get it. That's funny. No, but let me know. I'm curious. This is obviously pre-fight leans, pre-tape leans. What else do we have? I know, I'm still going back to my old ways. I'm not going to focus. I'm going to focus on UFC heavy. We got Invicta, and then I'll just do what I can with the regionals. The reason I had so many bets this week is tackle UFC early, do a little bit of regionals, then come back to UFC again, think about it, dream about it. It's a hard sport to profit on. A lot of the boys are on a big downswing, respectable guys, and this shit ain't easy. So you need to just put a lot of work in, a lot of tape. So I'm focusing on UFC. I'm going to tape this all card first, circle back around, and yeah. Moyes Audio, Spivac jabs him up 5 rounds. I think Tybura has better striking and a better jab, my friend. But again, got to tape. We'll see. Cherry. Yeah, let's look. I'm looking at the regionals. What do we have? I know we have a really high level Invicta card. Last Invicta was good for me. Got me out of a hole. And maybe I focus on that really heavy because back in the day, I was known for capping women fights. Low level crap. We have a really high level Brave CF, but I'm not going to focus on this. I'm going to leave it because obviously the limits are going to be bad on Bet Online. Got my boy Borislav Nikolic, one of the better Serbs, fighting co-main event against some Chinese dude. Yeah, I'll definitely do that, but I'll leave that till the end. Really high level Invicta fight. We got Jennifer Myra Contreras, where the hell this chick is. I actually looked into it today. A lot of really attractive ladies on this card. Jennifer Maya, I don't know who this Myra is. I assume Maya's going to be a massive favorite. Valeska Machado, she's coming back. She's quite high level. She probably should be in the UFC at some point. Yulia Ostrovenkova. Let's see what this girl is all about. Never heard of her. This is like, yeah, she's Shlemenko FC. This is like, yeah, some Russian low-level regionals. Obviously, we have to see what she's about. She's going to be a massive dog, let's be honest. Machado has a lot of hype. Kate Batchik is horrible. I know Paula Christina. I played Paula Christina against Denise Keyholtz in Bellator. She was a big dog. You know, she lost to Dakota Ditcheva and didn't get finished. So, you know, that's aged quite well. Everyone's getting finished by Dakota right now. Kate Batchik is horrible. She's like a really unathletic grappler from Cage Warriors. They're given a really bad girls to fight as well. And, you know, for a jiu-jitsu chick, she lost to an Esther Carrot's Kite in the UFC. So that's just red flag. Yeah, I think Paula's going to be a dog, a favorite. But we'll see. Maybe the bookies are not on it. Jackie Cataline, I know her. She's a grappler. Kelly Otoni. This Otoni looks like Dogfather, actually. It's quite funny. Dogfather with more test. 39 years old. Goddamn. Hasn't fought in 2 years. Jesus. Yeah, I think Jacqueline's going to be the favorite there, but tape's got to be done. Fior Hernandez, Ana Palacios. This is some random-ass girls. Yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. A lot of fights. I'm going to get quite burnt out taping this rubbish. As I mentioned, Brave FC is on. But yeah, only Invicta and UFC. I'm pumped. I think I'm going to do well on this UFC card. I'm just going to save it for the locks. And I'm actually going to get ahead with Contender Series. We're gonna make some money in Contender Series. So let's go. Alrighty. Moyes, Germany's finest. Ashley Barrett. Is she on the card? Ashley Barrett. Oh, right. First fight of the night. I guess I'll look into it. Is Maya going to be minus 1,000? I hope not. Christina is a punching bag. Yeah, well, all these girls are punching bags in one way or another. All right. Like and subscribe. Thanks for listening. Leave a comment. Give me some fights, some regionals. You know, boost the algo. And yeah, see you in a few days for a UFC final breakdown. Peace.